Hello everyone! Today I'll be comparing Citadel Contrast Paint, Army Painter Speedpaint, and Greenstuff World Dipping Inks. I've picked one pink and one purple of each brand, so we can compare similar colours. Unfortunately, my Citadel purple has dried up. Please change the bottles. But I do have this little guy with 2 coats of said shyish purple left over from my How to Mix Your Own Contrast Paint video. If you're interested, follow the link below. I'll be painting over zenithal primed models, so you can't complain about the white base layer this time. In terms of application, all 3 are pretty nice to work with. First impression of the dipping ink is that it's pretty much like a thinned down contrast or speed paint, and as the name might suggest, I'm sure it's good for dipping. It comes in a much larger bottle, but I suspect you're getting the same amount of pigment as in the smaller bottles. Let's take a quick look at our models. From left to right, we have Citadel Volupus Pink, Moonlake Coral Speed Paint, Glorious Magenta Dipping Ink, Citadel Shyish Purple, Periwinkle Purple Speed Paint, and Nightshade Purple Dipping Ink. All 3 have a nice matte even finish. We can see there's a little drip on the dipping ink here, but I suspect that might be because I was loading more paint on, trying to reach the same colour intensity of the other models. Having said this, the purple dipping ink is pretty saturated. As you may have heard me say before, my pot of shyish purple seemed to be kind of glossy and gloopy when I first opened it, which I didn't enjoy using. But I have a feeling the majority of contrast paints do not feel like this. The Volupus Pink is also a contrast paint, but seems way smoother, and just as good as the other brands. I use this colour frequently on my Tyranids. The Moonlake Coral Speed Paint is a really lovely colour. It's covered the model flawlessly. I can't really fault it at all. This paler dipping ink doesn't work so well over the darker zenithal base. It's pooling slightly more with a less even coverage than the other 2, though it still does have a lovely matte inky finish, very similar to the ink-based contrast paint I mix myself. This particular shade of contrast paint kind of sticks out like a sore thumb here. It's the only model with a glossy gloopy finish and is not my favourite. Periwinkle Purple Speed Paint is, again, a really lovely colour. It's just so satisfying. Considering how fast this whole process would be to zenithal prime and blob some speed paint on there, the finish is really top class. This Nightshade Purple dipping ink is probably the closest resembling my homemade mix. I'm glad I bought the 2 colours to try and not just one, because I don't think the pink over a greyish base really gave this product a fair chance. The purple seems to bring out the highlights much more and really shows a lot more contrast. The speed paints. Wow, I really can't take my eyes off this Periwinkle Purple. I think it helps that it just really suits this particular model, but this is just 2 coats of a single paint over some quick spray primers, and it looks phenomenal. The pink contrast paint is also really nice. I don't know what was going on with my bottle of shyish purple, but I do think it's more than likely an anomaly in a more than adequate product range. The Volupus Pink is a very similar coverage to the pink speed paint. I really can't fault this particular colour either. I haven't tried an extensive range of the contrast paints or the dipping inks, so I can't speak to their consistency between colours, but just based on the fact that I may have received a bad batch of the shyish purple, I'm going to have to rank the Citadel 3rd in this comparison. The colour differences may be skewing my judgment slightly, but I'm trying to remain objective and base the rankings on both the pink and purple models. To me, when I look at all the models together, the speed paint really jumps out at me. It has a kind of luminosity that the others don't seem to have. It's very subtle, but I think it's just the smoothness of the coverage on the light areas. The periwinkle in particular almost looks like a really nice pencil drawing. Do you get what I mean? The dipping inks are also very nice. I think I'd probably use them only as a wash over a tinted base. I think they're just slightly less pigmented, more thinned down and slightly drippy. And to be fair, they're probably marketed more as a wash than a one and done kind of paint. They have a really nice pastel quality to them, so I can definitely see myself using them over a lighter base and working well on something like a Nighthorn army. But you can probably tell that the dipping inks are in second place. And in my opinion, the speed paints come out on top. Let me know in the comments below if you agree, or if you think I'm wildly off the mark. Are there any other products you'd like to see me try or compare? If so, don't forget to subscribe for more miniature painting content. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!